Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So let me start with the first verse, verse 3, verse 25. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فكيف إذا جمعناهم. So how strange that day is going to be. إذا جمعناهم, when we are going to collect you ليوم ليوم. So yawm is day, and it has become yawmin because of li, which is one of the 11 huruf jar that we identified the other day. La raiba fee. We don't know anything about it. Well, we know fee. Now, this is another interesting thing. We know fee he, and we might say that fee he is giving he jar because of fee. Well, yes, but there is something more to it. We'll talk about it later because don't forget that we're gradually adding new principles to what we already know. So the more we'll know, the more we'll be able to analyze the Quranic text. وَوُفِّيَتْ كُلُّ نَفْسٍ. Wow. So now I mentioned probably last time that وُفِّيَتْ is like Qutila, like Zoreba, right? Slight difference, but basically the same pattern. Qutila. So this is passive verb in the past tense. When a passive verb comes, I hope you have correctly done it. Then kullu becomes kullu because of it being like file. If Qulillahumma malik al mulk, or as yet anything that interests us, tu'til mulka man tasha'u, wa tanzi'ul mulka min man tasha, wa tu'izzu man tasha'u, wa tuzillu man tasha, biyadika al khair. Wow. Why are we interested in it? Because of al khair having rafa. So here is rafa, right? But we should also be interested in biyadi. They, ba, one of the huruf jar, has given yad jar. Al khair. Al khair. Khair is rafa. If you have a noun that has rafa, the first thing that you should look for in the surroundings is a fail, a verb. Because if it's a verb, whether passive or active, that verb is probably the reason why the noun is in rafa form. But if there is no fail, then you will get to the second possibility, the second of the two possibilities, one of the two, which is mubtada khabar. So I mentioned the other day that I will take khair as mubtada and biyadika as khabar and say that it's the order reversed. So al khair biyadika. Khair is in his hands, in your hands, sorry. And yad has taken jad because of ba. Innaka ala kulli shayin qadir. Wow. In, innaka, indeed you. Ala kulli shay. When it comes, there's no way it will not give jar to the next one. Ala kulli. Shay'in is jar also, but why as yet we don't know. Qadir. Wow. Just forget about this part. Innaka, indeed you, Qadir, are the one with control. So this is Muqtada and this is Khabar. Muqtada and this is Khabar. This is something that has got to do with this Khabar. And as I keep saying, the sequence has been reversed. Qadirun, he is in control, ala kulli shayin, over everything. Call it Muqtada Khabar or call it Khabar and something associated with Khabar, they call it Muta'alliqati Khabar. There are certain things that are associated with, linked with Khabar. The sequence gets reversed whenever this part of the Khabar has ala or some harf jar coming towards the beginning. But the important thing is that this is Muqtada and this is Khabar. For some reason that we've not as yet discussed, it's not in its Rafa form. Uh, had it been uh, any noun, let's say it's actually talking about Allah, it would have been Allahu Qadir. Allah is Muqtada and Qadir is Khabar. Verse 28, it says, La yattakhizil mu'minun. Well, mu'minun should interest us. Well, when we read something like yattakhiz, we say to ourselves, yattakhiz. We'll say to ourselves, yattakhiz, don't worry, don't worry, we'll know you soon. Right now, we don't know you. So, mu'minun, I know al-mu'minun. Al-mu'minun is, we've done it. This is Rafa. Why is it Rafa? It's Rafa because La yattakhiz means let not make, or let's say should not make. Who should not make? Let not make who? Believers. Believers should not make. Al-Kafirin, disbelievers, awliya, friends. Al-Mu'minun is the one, are the one who will make or will not make. So what are they? File. They're doing this yattakhidh fail. Min dunil mu'minin, well, we know that min is causing doon to have jar. Min doon, doon has a jar because of min. وَمَنْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ فَلَيْسَ مِنَ اللَّهِ. Min Allahi, Allah has jar because of min Allahi. Fi shay'in, shay has jar because of fi. إِلَّا أَن تَتَّقُوا مِنْهُمْ تُقَاتٍ وَيُحَذِّرُكُمُ اللَّهُ نَفْسَهُ. Wow. Allah. We know, we've read so many times in the Quran, but we'll come to you. Yuhazzirukum Allah. That is what we know is Rafa. Allah yuhazzirukum. He makes you scared, right? Nafsahu, about himself. That is, he warns you of himself. Allah warns you. Who warns? Allah. So Allah is in Rafa form. Why? Because it's the file of yuhazzir. Wa ilallahi al-masir. Okay. Wa ilallahi. Wa ilallahi. Oh, Allah should be of interest to us because ilah is giving jar to Allah. Wa ilallahi al-masir. And towards Allah is al-masir, the return. So this is, as I keep saying, Muqtada, but that comes later. Khabar comes first, and the sequence has been reversed. This principle, or call it the application of this particular understanding, comes so many times in the Quran. It's a very underrated principle that's not normally discussed. Now we move on to 29. قُلْ إِن تُخْفُوا مَا فِي صُدُورِكُمْ. Well, sudur is jar because of fi. أَوْ تُبْدُوهُ يَعْلَمْهُ اللَّهُ. Allah in يَعْلَمْهُ اللَّهُ has rafa. Why? Because knows it Allah. Allah knows it. So Allah is rafa because of ya'lam. وَيَعْلَمُ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Al-ard has jar because of fi. Wallahu ala kulli shay'in qadir. And Allah, again the same thing. Ala kulli shay'in, over everything, qadir has qudrat, has control. So Allah is rafa because it is muqtada, and qadir is khabar, and ala kulli shay'in qadir is the associate of qadir. It's mutalliq, connected with qadir. And like in all these cases, when it comes with the harf jar, ala, the sequence is reversed. So qadirun ala kulli shay. Instead of saying that, it's always ala kulli shayin qadir. That's verse 29. Verse 30 is Yawma tajidu kullu nafsin. Wow. Again, kullu nafsin, again rafa. Tajidu, you will find. Who will find? Every soul. So every soul will find. So why is kullu rafa? Because kullu is going to find. Will find is the file. File of what? Of tajidu. The file is tajidu, and that is file. مغذرة من خير مغذرة وما عملت من سوء تود لو أن بينها وبينه أمدا بعيدا ويحذركم الله نفسه. Again the same. يحذركم الله. Allah is rafa because it's the file of يحذر. والله رؤوف. Allah is رؤوف. So Allah is Muqtada and Rauf is Khabar. Bilibad is linked with Rauf. Now you might say, why is it come later? How do I know? Normally it comes before, but it's come later. Allah is the ultimate authority. What happen? It's sometimes, it comes later also. Bilibad is the servants. The important thing is that Be Harf Jar has given Ibad Jar. 37. فَتَقَبَّلَهَا, so accepted from her, Rabbuha, her Lord. Wow. Rabbuha. Now Rabbuha again is Rafa. It is Rafa because it is the file of Taqabbala. Accepted from her, Rabbuha, her Lord, biqabulin. Biqabulin. Ba has given Qabul Jad. And what is Hasan? It's the sifat, adjective of Qabul. What acceptance? Excellent acceptance. And the rule is whatever Mawsuf is going to do, whatever its Arab, whatever its form, whatever its gender, its sifat, adjective is going to follow in all such matters. I noticed, yeah, Maryamu as a Rafa. So I felt, probably it's a fifth reason why some nouns may be in Rafa. It's not Mubtada, it's not Khabar, it's not File, it's not Naib File. Sometimes you say, O mankind, O people, Ya ayyuhan nas, and it has a Rafa. I will take it as a fifth principle. قالت هو من عند الله إن الله يرزق من يشاء بغير حساب. Min indi, again, indi has jar because of min. بغير, غير has jar because of بغير. And finally is verse 40. قال ربي, oh no. قال ربي أن يكون لي غلام. Wow, غلام is a big rafa. Li غلام. So غلام is Mubtada. Li is Khabar. No, actually it's not that. There is something that we'll study later, let me say. It's because of yakunu. Yakunu is a kind of a verb. Can be. How can be? Can be what? A child, a boy, for me. So it's actually file of yakunu. But there is more to it. Okay. Waqad balaganiyal kibar. Balaga means reach it, has reached. Me. What has reached me? Kibar. Al kibar. Old age. That is why al kibaru is Rafa. Because al kibaru has reached. Balaga has reached. Is frayed. And what has reached? Al kibaru. So it's filed. Vamraati akhir. Vamraati. Amrati, I would like to know it more, but right now, I don't know. And my wife, I'm talking about the word. Amrati Akarun. And my wife is barren, Akarun. So it's Rafa. Why? Because my wife, Muqtada, and Akir is Khabar. Right? So Akir is Rafa. Qala kazalikullah. Wow. Allah is again Rafa. Such, likewise, this way Allah yafalu ma yasha, does what he wills. So Allah is the file of yafalu. Allah yafalu. Who does? Allah does. Today we are going to start brand new thing. I remember I told you that when a noun takes jar form, there are two reasons. One of them is that it comes after harf jar. The other reason why a noun takes jar is mudaf ilay. After we have studied mudaf ilay as well, we should be able to explain all jar forms that we find in the Quran. Now, mudaf ilay is called possessive noun. What exactly is it? You know, we say Zad's house. There's an apostrophe that we come up with. In Arabic too, you have, well, it's not two, but obviously it's the reverse order that we write in. Uh, house comes first, bait, and Z comes later. Normally, we would say baitu Zaidin. Well, we can also say baita Zaidin, baiti Zaidin, but we are saying baitu Zaidin, assuming that it's Rafa. There is a reason for it to have Rafa. Now, Z's house, whenever it's going to be a possessive noun, it's going to have ja, right? And the noun that that comes with it, that is mudaf, which is this one, possessed noun, possessed noun, it will have a feature, it will have only one harakat. Normally, a noun has one harakat when it has alif lam at the beginning. But here it's without an alif lam, it has one harakat. In most of the cases, in fact, that's the principle. Sometimes the principle gets violated, and there is at least one example in the Quran as well. I'm saying violated. Obviously, there has to be a rule behind it. But generally speaking, the principle is that when you have mudaf ilay and mudaf, the possessed noun, Zaid possesses, owns this house. The house that he owns, the house that Zaid owns, has to be a particular house. Obviously, it cannot be any house, right? Now, because the house belongs to Zaid, Zaid being a particular definite person, the house, because of that relationship, is now particular. It's not common, it's proper now, without having alif lam. The rule is that when you have mudaf ilay, a possessive noun and a noun that is possessed, the sequence is that the possessed noun mudaf will come first, and the possessive noun mudaf ilay will come later. Mudaf ilay, the possessive noun, will take jar always, and mudaf, the possessed noun, can be rafa, nasab, or jar, depending upon whatever is the reason for those Arab to be there. But it's always going to be single, and there is not going to be any alif lam because it is already proper because of it being the house of Zaid. Uh, Baitun becoming Baitu. You know what it is doing? This is you might call it this. What you're saying is not it's not a very uh, good principle to mention, but you have to do these tricks to understand language. Baitun, when it becomes Baitu, the sound of noon in Baitun has disappeared and it has become Baitu. Let's make the rule that the possessed noun always comes in jar form. That's a conclusion we have already accepted. And the possessive noun, sorry, the possessive noun, it always comes with jar. And the possessed noun comes without having an alif lam before it, number one, and yet it comes with one harakat, and I'm adding to it, it comes in a way that it does not carry the sound of noon. So instead of baytun, it is baytu, without having an alif lam. Now, why I'm making this strange statement, I'll tell you now by giving another example. Our friend Zaid is quite as wealthy as most of you are. Unlike me, it's wealthy. So, I mean, you people, you don't have one house, I'm telling you. You have at least two houses. So, what will be two houses? Muslimun is one Muslim. Two Muslims are in Rafa form, Muslimani, right? So, two houses are like that. You want to say Zaid's two houses. So, I just now said that, when you have a possessive noun and you are making a construction where you have the possessed noun and you want to build up that relationship, then it's going to have this sequence where the possessed noun is going to come first, mudaf is going to come first, and possessive noun, mudaf ilayh, is going to come later. Possessive noun is going to have jar. The possessed noun is going to have no alif lam and no sound of noon. So there goes noon. That's why I said no sound of noon. Here the sound of noon has gone by dropping one pesh dhamma. Here the sound of noon has gone by dropping noon. So it's now Baita Zaid. Zad's two houses. Congratulations, Zad. So that's how it is. That's the rule. We will keep practicing it. Let me give another example. So India is Al Hind. Muslims are, when you say Muslims, quite often it's Muslimun, right? And lose men and women both. Okay, now Al Hind, if we want to make Al Hind Mudaf Ilay, right? This is possessive now. And we want to make Muslimun as possessed noun, Mudaf here, it is Muslimul Hindi. So this is because you would not say Muslimuna because there's no sound of noon in Mudaf, and Hind is going to take jar because possessive nouns always take jar. Let us take another example. We want to say that there is a ruler of Muslims, and let's say the ruler is the one who rules is Hakim, right? Muslims are Muslims. You're talking about obviously a particular group of Muslims. So you're saying al-Muslim. The Hakim of Muslims is the possessive noun. Muslims. The Muslims have a Hakim, right? Muslims have a Hakim. And Hakim comes here. Hakim of Muslims. Muslims Hakim. Let's say Hakim is Rafa. It's going to be Hakimu, right? One. And Muslims are going to be Muslimi. Why is it al-Muslimin? Because Mudaf ilayh, the possessive noun, is always in jar form. Always, I think a good idea would be, that's how I kind of understood it. When you have one particular example as the standard in your mind, Baitu Zaidin. Zaid is always jar, Baitu Zaidin. Bait is always one single harakat and whatever Rafa Nasab or jar. Right. So that's what it is. One last thing about it. Sometimes it so happens that you have to say something like Baitu and Ibn. Ibn is son. You want to say son's house, possessive noun, possessed noun. So what would you do? Baitu, Ibn, Zad's son. So son will come here, right? That is it. Now that we know always, Baitu, Zadin, right? So Ibn is going to have only one. Let's say Ibn Zaid. We want to say that this house is Zad's son's house. House will be the first. It is the possessed noun. It is the noun that we are talking about. The whole discussion, the whole idea came because we wanted to talk about that house. The complication is that the house belongs to Zad's son. The house will come first, right? Yeah. You can see the house. I want you to see the house. Right, right? So Bait comes first. Zed will come last. And in the middle is the sun. Assuming that it's Rafa, will take one harkat. Zed comes towards the end. Ibnu Zadin. It has jar. It's the possessive noun, mudaf ilayh. This young man is causing problems for us. It has a dual role. It is mudaf, possessed noun for Zaid, and mudaf ilayh, possessive noun for Bait. Because it is mudaf ilay for bayt, possessive noun for bayt, it will take a jar. Let's give it two jars. It can have an alif lam if you want right now, but it will have jar. But because of that, it will be just one. But because it is also mudaf, possessed noun of zayd, therefore it will have no alif lam, and yet it will have one Arab, and these Arab are jar. You know why? Because it is the possessive noun of Bait. Because of being mudaf ilay possessive noun of Bait, it has jar. And because of it being a possessed noun of Zaid, it has only one harkat. It cannot have any sound of noon. So it will be Baitu ibn Zaidin. Zaid's son's house. Malik Yom ad-Din. Deen is accountability. Yom is day. Malik is Malik. Accountability, days. The accountability, it's day. So it's Yom. It's Malik. It's Malik. So he is the Malik of the accountability day. Accountability days Malik. Maliki Yawmiddin. The verses for the next time for you to do practice with. Surah Al Imran continues, Surah number 3, verses 51, 52, 54, 56, 62, 63, 65.
Brother, I don't understand beta zaidin, like how you put down the alif and
Okay.
they're representing two houses, you said?
By Zayd. This is Mudaf ilayh, possessive noun, and this is Mudaf, possessed noun. The rule is that in Mudaf ilayh, possessive noun, it's going to be jar, always, inviolable. In case of Mudaf, depending upon what Arab there are, it's going to be one singular. So let's suppose it's Rafa. Now I am saying there's no alif lam. It's already proper because it's Zad's house. instead of saying that bat will not have two harakat but one, I am changing the rule to become more applicable to all cases. What I'm saying is that imagine that the possessed noun mudaf will never have a sound of noon. So had it been baytun or baytan, you have a sound of noon. When you take away one harakat, it becomes baytu. So if you apply this principle to baytan is zaidi, right? That is a possessive noun. It will have jar. This is possessed noun. It will have no alif lam and it will have no sound of noon. In order to drop sound of noon in baitani, you would say baita. For some reason, it is nasab. Now, nasab is, nasab would be what? Nasab would be Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimaini, Baitun,
Tiny.
Baitani. So, in this case, it will be dropped Baitay Zadin. In English, it's apostrophe. In Arabic, the sequence is reversed, and there's two other things happening. Mudaf doesn't have an alif lam, and its sound of noon is removed, and mudaf ilayh always in jar form.
Every time we see an ism, there must be a verb hiding.
No, I mentioned that there are four reasons for rafa: mubtada, khabar, fa'il, and naib fa'il. Right? What I said was that first rule out these two possibilities. How would you rule out these possibilities? Just try to find out whether there is a verb around. If there is a verb around this noun, then the more likely possibility is that it is either a file or a naib file. You don't have a verb, then go to the next possibility. Okay, now I'll just give you one example before we leave. This example, some part of it you will understand. This is what excites me, honestly. You come to learn about something that you have been reading and reciting for quite a while, but you get one aspect of its understanding, which is great, amazing. Okay, but broke, got destroyed. Yadani, two hands. Two hands of whom? Of Abu Lahab. Abu Lahab is Abu Lahab with Jar. Lahab is, is the uh, fires. So Abu, the one with that solar, the fire. Abu is Rafa. We have not discussed it, but I'm just telling you Abu. But it's Abu. But Yadani is Mudaf. The two hands, Abu Lahab's two hands. So it cannot have noon. It has to be Yada. Tabbat Yada. Now, this again is like Baitu Ibni Zaidin. It's the middle noun. Ibn. It has to have Jar. It will become Abi. So Tabbat Yada Abi Lahab. Lahab is Jar. It's already possessive noun. Uh, in the middle is Abi, like Ibn, Baitu Ibni Zaidin. Abu becomes Abi, and Yadani become Yada. The two hands of Abu Lahab, uh, they were destroyed, broken. Watab, and he himself also got destroyed. So, by learning this principle of Mudaf Ilayh, you are now getting introduced to another good number of words in the Quran that have been mentioned expressed in a certain form. Honestly, all that you need to do now is to start reading the Quran, looking looking for such nouns, and as Pad Sahib pointed out, you will still come across certain words. You will be confused that are they also what we have already learned? You'll be looking for the opportunity to learn. I'm still doing it. I mean, that's what we should do. Write down this answer to this question. This is the last thing before we leave. Why, Yadani is not Yadani. Yadani is not Yadani. Why is it Yadani? Yadani is Rafa, Yadani is Nasab and Jar. It is Yadani, and this is my last statement. After this, I'm going. It is Yadani because it is the file of Tabbat. What broke? Two hands broke. So what broke is going to be the file of the fail. And the rest next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.